Yo, what is going on, slasher fans? My name is Sean, and Scream 5 is finally released in theaters. I've seen it twice now, and I gotta say, it was such a fun time going here with my friends, going with my family and stuff. I think you guys are really gonna enjoy this movie. This movie has everything that a Scream fan could want. It offers us everything. It's not only a love letter to Wes Craven, but it is truly a love letter to the fans. So today I'm gonna be giving you guys my non-spoiler review for Scream 2022. If you guys haven't seen this movie, don't be alarmed, there's no spoilers within this video, but tomorrow I'm going to be giving you guys my spoiler review for Scream 2022. So if you have not seen this movie yet, do not watch the video I post tomorrow. But if you guys have seen Scream 2022, then stay tuned for that. But today, again, in this video, I'm just going to be going over some stuff that I liked about this movie and not going into any spoilers whatsoever. Just telling you guys some things that you can look forward into this movie. Again, that's what we're going to be talking about here today on...
What's your favorite scary movie? I told you not to hang up on me.
Alright, so let me say, if you guys watched the vlog video that I posted before posting this video, wow, this movie is insane. It is intense. It is brutal. It's got a lot in this movie. I wanted to go see the movie twice before coming back to make my non-spoiler review and spoiler review, just because I felt like there was so much in this movie. There's definitely a change of formula. I want to quote something that a fellow YouTuber, Killjoy Jake, said. He said that Scream fans will love this movie, but Scream purists will hate it. There is a lot of change in formula within this movie, and it's very different. It's definitely very different, and there's something you guys need to be prepared for. If you guys are expecting it to feel exactly like Wes Craven's movies did, it definitely does not, and it feels a lot like a Matt and Tyler film. If you guys have seen Ready or Not, it's there's a lot of stuff that's similar to that movie, and there's a lot of people that are gonna be on the internet that talk a lot of shit about this movie. There are things that happen in this movie that people will talk shit about, and that's okay. That's completely fine. Not everybody is gonna like this movie, and as much as I am an all-time Scream fan, like I'm not a Scream purist, but I am a die-hard Scream fan, and I can even say, as much as I love this movie, as hyped up as I was at this movie, there's of course some problems within this movie. There's problems within every movie, and that's something that I think a lot of people need to understand. Is that no movie is perfect, and No Way Home isn't perfect, Endgame isn't perfect, there's no movie that you can say was 100% perfect, and there's some issues with this movie, but they're very minor issues, and they don't take away from the experience that you'll have going into this movie. I think if you guys haven't seen this movie yet and you are new to the Scream franchise, I highly suggest you go back and you watch Scream 1 and you watch Scream 4. They don't really bring up too much stuff from Scream 2 and 3. They might bring up some Easter eggs and references. But other than that, they don't really bring up the second and third film as much. They bring up the first movie, and the only reason why you would need to watch the fourth movie is just because one of the characters, Judy Hicks, is from the fourth movie. So you may be a little confused at like who she is if you don't watch that movie. Man, I can't. I felt a bunch of emotions. The opening scene in this movie is insane. The final act in this movie is insane. Everything throughout is insane. There's a big difference in formula, and we've been talking about this on the channel a lot recently. How is the change in formula? What is it going to look like? What's that going to be? I didn't think it would be as much as they did, but they did change a lot in this movie. It feels very different, and I've said that a lot. I want to empathize how different this movie feels, but I would like to say it feels different in a good way, in a refreshing way, and not everybody's going to feel like that. I want to say Ghostface is intense in this movie. He is brutal, he is brash, and he truly feels like a villain. That is one thing I want to emphasize in this, is Ghostface is truly at his most terrifying in this movie. And all the characters did amazing jobs when it came to acting. Like Jenna Ortega as Tara, wow, I didn't know she would do such a great acting job, and she just blew me away with her performance. Same with every other character within this movie. Their performances are just great. I feel like some of the characters were put in there just intentionally to be a quick little body, just a quick little slice off. There is every kill in this movie is just bonkers. Ghostface he does not hold back whatsoever. And it is insane. And I'm not spoiling anything, don't worry. Just because I refer to Ghostface as he. It could be he, it could be she, but like I just refer to Ghostface as he. Instead, I can say they. I don't know, he, they, she, doesn't really matter to me, right? You know what I mean? So don't take that as, oh my god, he's saying he, it must be a he. I'm not going to spoil anything. There's a lot of twists in this movie. Yeah, I think you guys are gonna like this. The kills are insane. Ghostface does not hold back whatsoever, and there is some scenes that you'll know what I mean when they happen. They obviously, over the years, the more gore is allowed, I guess, in movies, but within Scream, within the franchise, and this is another really good point that Killjoy Jake brought up in his non-spoiler review and spoiler review. I think this is a spoiler review, is he feels that in the other Scream movies, the kills aren't as creative. They don't, they lack creativity in a way. It's more just Ghostface stabbing people. But in this movie, each kill, it's got meaning to it. Like, each kill is something you can go back and go like, this one was my favorite. This one was my favorite. There's a couple in Scream, but they're mostly just like very generic, just stabby dead. But wow, this movie has a lot of the cinematography is it's incredible. The cinematography is incredible in this movie. I cannot empathize how incredible the cinematography is. I loved the way the camera work was, the way the camera would pan different shots. It's brilliant. The dialogue in this movie is very, very good. I love the dialogue between characters. I love the character development. The character development between our new characters. They did a very good job at developing each character. You definitely, by the end of this movie, will have a liking to new characters. You know, I might not like this person. I like this person. I really liked all of the cast members. There was one person that I really didn't like in this movie, and I was not that I didn't like the actor or actress, but I just didn't like who they were. I didn't like their characters, so I just didn't really like them. But every other character you'll probably like. There's a lot of great references to past Scream movies. It's definitely a love letter to the fans, like I said, because it's just so many Easter eggs left and right. You really just, if you're paying attention to the screen, I guarantee throughout this movie there's gonna be tons of things that you go, oh, look at that. Like, it's awesome. The nostalgia within the theater was heavy. The soundtrack in this movie is beautiful. Sydney's acting performance is amazing. Dewey and Gail's acting performance is priceless. There are some things in this movie that I think a lot of fans will like, and I think there's some things that fans will be iffy about. There's one particular thing that I think fans will be iffy about involving a character that I'm not going to name out who this is. I'm not going to name drop, but I think there's something iffy about a character that some people want to hate, but they can't. And if you've seen the movie, you know what I mean, I think. It's like you want to hate it, but you can't hate it. And yeah, it's honestly just there's too much to explain in this movie. That's why I had to watch it twice just to really get my feel on this. I think purist Scream fans again are gonna have a big issue with this movie. I think they're gonna think that they changed formula too much, but the formula change is just something that we needed. It's truly amazing to see fans making these movies. Like, I have been recently catching up on a lot of Matt and Tyler's recent movies, and it's crazy to see the you know how, for example, me, if you really scroll down in my videos, you'll see that my editing wasn't as great. You develop and you get better over time, and it's insane to see Matt and Tyler's growth, and it's insane to see what they did at their disposal when they didn't have much. If you've seen a lot of their earlier films, you can tell that they didn't have a fucking Avengers level budget, but they made it work in such a unique, spectacular way. And I don't know, Matt and Tyler, if you watch these videos, but if you do, man, you blew my mind at this movie, and I hope you get a sequel. So if you guys are hesitant on seeing this movie, do not be hesitant. Go and see it. But I highly, 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 highly suggest that anybody who has not seen a Scream movie before, go and watch Scream 1 and Scream 4 before you see this movie. And if you don't want to watch Scream 1 and 4 and you're just adamant on not wanting to do that, there's a video I'll link in the description here that pretty much gives you it's a 17-minute recap over the course of all 4 movies. It'll get you caught up for Scream 5, and then you can learn about 2 and 3 as well. But I highly suggest that you actually go and watch the franchise beforehand, because if you watch the 17-minute recap and then you go watch Scream and you really like the whodunit technique that they use in this movie, and how this movie's this big mystery crime thriller slasher movie, then I think that you should probably just watch the movies, because you're going to be bummed out. You're going to be like, man, I had 4 other movies I could have watched where I could have got a deadly reveal, and I ruined that for myself. So don't ruin that for yourself. Again, I think there's very few characters in this movie that I didn't like. There is one specific character that I was very disappointed with. Not the acting performance of that character. That character is amazing. Is a character that gets killed off very early in the movie, and I'm not too happy with that. And yeah, I think they could have done a lot more with the character that I'm speaking of. And I think a lot of fans are gonna feel that way when they see and what I'm talking about, and you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about this movie. Again, this is a spoiler-free review, so I can't be going and spitting spoilers to you guys. Comments are back on, but please don't spoil anybody that's coming into the non-spoiler review to check this movie out. This movie is something I think everybody should experience. And again, if you guys haven't seen this movie, I'm going to be posting my spoiler review tomorrow, so do not click on that. Do not click on the spoiler review. Don't do it, because you will get this movie spoiled for you. So do not click on the spoiler review. I really want to empathize that. Do not click on the spoiler review unless you have seen the movie. Okay, that was a little aggressive. Now, before I let you guys go, I just wanted to mention something I thought was really interesting. An article popped up on Bloody Disgusting yesterday, and it said that Kevin Williamson has actually revealed his details and original plans for Scream 5 and Scream 6. This is really interesting. So, some of the questions that they asked him, but not limited to, they've asked what exactly happened with those leaks, script leaks during the production of Scream 2, because if you guys didn't know, Scream 2 is leaked. They also asked him how did he feel when he first saw Scream 3, and when did he first see it. He was also asked which part of his Scream 4 script is he most bummed it didn't make it into the final cut. I don't know what that would have been. He was also asked, was Robbie really gay? And then he was asked, what part did he play in writing the hospital coda in Scream 4? And he was also asked, what were his plans for Scream 5 and Scream 6 had Scream 4 been successful? Now, in regards to the Scream 5 and Scream 6 plans that never came to be, Williamson reveals that, and here's a spoiler alert for Scream 4, so if you guys haven't seen Scream 4, click out of this video right now or skip ahead. Williamson reveals that Emma, who played Jill, who we all know to be one of the killers in Scream 4, the main killer, she would have returned in her original incarnation of a Scream 5 idea. So Williamson explains that the concept would be that Jill went to college and got away with the murders, but then murders started happening again on campus. But it was a killer who knew that she was the killer from the last film. So the killer kept trying to expose her, so she would have to kill to keep it covered up. So it was basically like a killer meets killer movie. And then Sydney would have been a professor at that school. I think that's actually a really good idea. That's a really cool idea. That's really cool. A killer meets killer. I was a pretty big fan of Jill being a killer. I wasn't a big fan of the motive, but I thought she was a really good killer. And then Scream 6 was going to answer whatever happened between Dewey and Gale in Scream 4. Williamson continued to say that Sydney was in it, but it was more focused on Gale's storyline. So this would have been like a Scream 6 where Gale was like our final person, and it would have mainly focused on Dewey and Gale. And he didn't really go into much on whether Scream 6, like what it would be with the Ghostface and how that would be. But they also asked Williamson for spoiler-free thoughts on the latest film. This is on a podcast called Horror Queers. If you guys want to check that out, you can check it out. It's Bloody Disgusting, I think. You can probably find them on Apple Podcast. I haven't listened to them yet. But it's a 25-minute podcast, and I'm going to be listening to that podcast later tonight. So when I make my spoiler video tomorrow, I'm going to give you guys some of the answers on some of the other questions that they're asking, like, was Robbie really gay? And, like, what part did he play in writing the hospital coda in Scream 4? And how did he feel when he first saw Scream 3? Yada, yada, yada. But again, that is all I can really give to you guys without giving you spoilers for Scream 5. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Again, make sure you guys hit that dingy bell so you get notifications every time I post horror videos. And again, that's pretty much all I got for this video. Make sure you guys dump a bucket of blood over your head, just like Carrie. And until I see you next time, which it will be tomorrow, stay bloody. Peace.